Hey, it's Bart Gurley with Gurley Group here in North Dallas, covering your monthly market update for the housing market. Feels like we could either go off a cliff or could just be a short window of opportunity for buyers. Let's go into the details and see what it looks like. So we hadn't seen this kind of shift in over a decade, 2008 crash, where we've seen negative impact on the housing market. We've been really riding a wave ever since then. And now this last summer, we saw rates jump to 7, and we obviously saw a huge impact on the real estate market. So let's see what the numbers say this month in February 2023. We're going to cover 4 areas of information. And this is going to be over all of North Dallas where we focus in, and the surrounding suburbs from maybe North Dallas all the way to the 380 corridor, which would include Frisco, Prosper, Plano, Louisville, Coppell, and the other surrounding suburbs. So when you look at all these different markets of the suburbs where we are really active in our client database and our housing experience, you're going to see Frisco, McKinney, Plano as larger markets. Then you're going to have really small markets where the volumes are really low. Places like Carrollton, Coppell, Louisville, Park Cities. Those are going to be much lower in volume, but that's all averaged together in these numbers. So if you download the link that's attached to this video, you can actually scroll down to all the suburbs and see your specific area. Hopefully that helps. But let's jump into it. So we have 3,500 homes sold in January 2023. Just to put some context in that, we haven't had a number that low since 2014. Typically, which January is the slowest month in sales volume historically every year, year over year, we would see much higher than 4,000, usually around 4,500. And this month we're looking at, like, say, 3,500. So we're definitely down. Rates and uncertainty in the market almost certainly are the responsible party for that, and inflation in other areas of our economy. But what's that done to the other 3 areas we're going to cover, which is the total number of homes available? Are sellers still putting the houses on the market? And the answer is yes. We had roughly over 16,000 homes for sale here in North Dallas. And again, we sold 3,500 of those, a little over 3,500 of those. So we're still homes are still selling at quite a good volume, but it's taking longer. You know, our average days on market is 57 days as of January 2023. Obviously, we're a long ways from the multiple days, 2 to 5 days max from last summer and then the previous 2 years of the pandemic. So much different market, great opportunity for buyers if we can overcome that rate issue and that concern over, overpaying in the form of interest rates on these new mortgages. So if you're paying cash, obviously, I would jump on a house. If you have lots of equity from a previous home, obviously, I would still jump on a house if you're making a move and have motivation and have a proper motivation to move and have a need to move. So pricing. Our average sales price, including, like, say, all these suburbs in North Dallas, was about $437,000 average sales price for January 2023. This is actually holding pretty steady, within $15,000, $20,000 since October 2022. So the concern over dipping prices around the country is really not hitting us here in North Dallas. We have such a robust job market here. So many people relocated during the pandemic here for jobs and various other reasons. And so we have a lot of pent-up demand. I know when I talk to potential buyers that do not own a previous home and have relocated here and they're renting, these people are not generally renters, right? It's not a sound financial decision if they're going to be here for some amount of time. They're just trying to get familiar with the area. And so the number one objection I hear right now is interest rate. And so the phrase generally will be, once interest rates go down or when they go down, right? So the presumption is they are going to go down, which they may not. But we are seeing them really dip into the high 5s. The average is a little over 6 nationwide, the average 30-year fixed mortgage rate. But we're seeing it actually come down where you can get in the high 5s on certain products. Including a 30-year fixed here this last 2 weeks, we've seen a little bit of a break in the rates. So we'll see what happens there. But what our concern is overall with my experience and my team is that you have buyers presuming the rates will go down, and it's very likely they will continue to soften a little bit and come into the mid-5s, according to most studies that I'm reading. And what will happen if that does is you're going to have another run, I think, on houses from buyers that are ready to buy here in North Dallas and these suburbs, for schools, for their kids, or really across all demographics. And so what will happen is that's actually going to bolster prices to increase again. Inventories are already at only about 3 months, maybe 4 in some areas, but that will come right back down if we see rates continue to drop. So right now, if you're presumptive that the rates are going to come down, why not just jump on the house today with less competition? You got 50 days to look at the available inventory in the areas you're looking at and make offers and negotiate with sellers to pay discount points possibly on the mortgage rates. And then obviously you could refinance if the rates do indeed drop later. And that is, like say, the overall attitude that I'm seeing right now across the industry. So I think it's safe. I think it is a window of opportunity for buyers to jump on properties right now with a lot less competition. And I do think you will save money. Ultimately, you'll save money when the springtime comes and summer, and historically we see those sales jump from, in suburbs we'll see right now in Frisco, Plano, McKinney, we'll see 100, 115 sales a month right now, and that's going to go to 400 to 500 a month. Almost certainly it has every year, all the way back to, again, probably the early 2010 to or 11 to 12 range. That's where we've seen those numbers almost historically every year. Seasonality will kick that number of volume up in the summer. So if you're thinking about a move, have a need to move, probably a great time. If you're a seller, you're going to get your price. It may take a little longer, and obviously condition is the number one thing that you would look at there to make sure those days on market are minimal. There's a link here with all the North Dallas numbers we've talked about today, as well as numbers for every suburb. So you can go find your particular suburb you may be interested in, or you already live in, and look at those numbers on pricing and days on market and the number of houses selling and for sale for competition if you're a seller. But just know that at the Gurley Group here, we've got 2 decades plus of experience here in North Dallas only and the surrounding suburbs. And we were selling homes in Frisco when they had 3,000 people. So they're well over a couple 100,000 now. So we have great perspective to share with our customers. And you get an amazing experience with us and lots of expertise. So if we can help, please don't hesitate to reach out. We're here to answer and provide information if any way we can. And we wish you a wonderful year in 2023, and we'll see you in next month's market update.